It's not a secret the fact that men and women are very different, but sometimes I don't think we fully realize just how big that difference really is. Human nature in reality is pretty complex, and honestly, the more you learn, the darker it can get, and men are no exception to this rule. So today I am going to share with you some uncomfortable truths that every woman needs to understand about men. And one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is because I see so many women out there craving male validation, and honestly, it's becoming way too common. And in reality, there is no need to base your worth in what a man says or thinks about you, especially after you understanding the information I am about to share. And just to be clear, I am not sharing this information to bash men at all. I just want to help you understand their behavior better so that when you are dating or getting into a relationship, you will have the right knowledge to make the best choices for yourself. The first thing women need to know is that looks and youth matter to a man. This is an evolutionary cue that indicates fertility to a man. It can be conscious or unconscious, but the chances are that if there is a young and attractive woman walking side by you, she is going to grab a lot of male attention, and that may include your husband. That's why women in their 20s have more options when it comes to marriage than women in their 30s or in their 40s. Contrary to what some women believe, men don't pursue women in their 20s because they think younger women are easier to manipulate. That's not the case. The real reason is much simple. Men are naturally attracted to youth and beauty. It's just in their nature. If the man has resources, if he is attractive, or if he has good values, and he has plenty of women to choose from, why would you think he will pick an older woman over a younger one? And I know that this might be very uncomfortable but for some women, but we as a women, we act in a very similar way. We usually tend to choose the partner we think it will be a better option for us. In our nature, we are looking for a partner that can make our lives better. We want the best partner because deep down we know that the better the partner, the better the chances our kids are going to have a great life. The second thing is that guys care more about sex than you may believe. Men are biologically wired to be more sexually driven than women, and testosterone is a big reason why. There are so many studies that prove that men will easily have sex with a woman they don't even know if they have the opportunity. And based on this information, I want you to realize that when a guy first approaches you, his initial intention is often to sleep with you with as little effort as possible. Now, I'm not saying that he cannot develop real feelings for you later on. Sometimes he does, and he might even start thinking about a serious relationship or marriage, but in that very first moment, it's usually more about a physical urge than anything else. That's why it's so funny to me when women talk about love at first sight and all that, because this can be real for a woman, but from a man perspective, the experience may be very different. Another example regarding this topic, it can be male friendships. I know women today love having friendships with guys, but trust me guys when I tell you that most of those guys are around just because they are waiting for the perfect opportunity to be with you. There is no actual real benefit for a man to have a woman as a friend. They still paying out, picking you up, listening to you, talking for hours in most of the cases, but in exchange of what? Being a good friend? Well, I certainly will doubt that. And if you don't believe me next time you are alone with him, play around a little bit, pretend being interested in him and see how it reacts. And if your friend is one of those exceptional cases where he is not interested in you at all, most mainly it's not going to be a highly masculine man, probably will be a man with more feminine energy, and now that will make a lot of sense. Before getting into the next one, girls, if you are enjoying this video, remember subscribe. This channel is for all the girls, for all of you. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts about the video. Are these kinds of topics something that you are into, or is there something else you would love me to talk about? You can leave all your suggestions in the comments. That will help a lot the channel, and of course will inspire me to create more content like this for all of you. The next one is going to be very hard to grasp, but past matters, especially if you are trying to get married with a high masculine protector provider man. The reason why is because they work incredibly hard to build an stable life, and if a woman comes with a complicated past, it can create a lot of challenges. It can trigger trauma responses, and depending on the nature of their past, it might even impact his reputation and everything he has been working for his entire life. For a man like this, having a woman in his life is a big responsibility. She is a reflection of him, and everything she does or doesn't to have a direct or indirect impact on his life. A quick example, the most controversial one, is the body count. I know, don't get upset with me, I didn't create men, I'm just talking facts about their behavior. Some of the reasons why men may have a big issue with this is, first one, purity. From an evolutionary perspective, purity is something men look for in a woman because it inspires a stronger desire to protect and care for her. If a woman has a high body count, some men might feel like there is less to protect or take care of. Another aspect is the ability to bond. Women bond through sex thanks to an hormone called oxytocin. When a woman have a lot of sexual partners, it's going to be even harder for this woman to create a deep bond with a new partner. Another aspect is the amount of trauma you create after having multiple relationships. Even if you are the type of woman who just want to have sex for fun, you still being a woman. Deep down, you are attracted to that person that you are sleeping with in some way. In the right circumstances, probably you will want a commitment from that person, but you maybe don't want to be hurt. And I can bet that every time things doesn't work out with a sexual partner, part of you, part of your heart get damaged, and this is when you start to create trauma. You start being afraid of commitment, you start to having trust issues. Now you are a chaser of dopamine as well, and that will create future problems to that new partner. There are so many things I can go on deep with this topic. If you want to know more, let me know in the comments, but until the moment I am going to let this topic here. Again, this information is for you to get more knowledge. If in some way you feel triggered with some of the things that I am sharing, just try to understand why, and that's it. And the last thing I want to tell you is that even with these things that I just shared, is that you have the power. Men are going to treat you in the way how you teach them to treat you. And this is a tip for all my angels watching this video. A very common trait that women have while dating men, especially women that are ultra independent, is bringing their independence to the table. This is another uncomfortable truth, but when a man senses this energy where the woman is acting like she is independent, that she doesn't need no man, she's literally teaching the man to treat her in that way. Many women want a man who will take care of them and make them feel secure, but at the same time they are teaching him not to protect or take care of them. Over time, he might stop investing in you emotionally and financially because you are showing him that you don't need him. And this dynamic tends to increase even more after you became physically intimate, as he might start treating you with less care and attention, assuming that you don't rely on him for that support. And this is why two women can get a very different treatment from the same man. Sometimes women talk about their independence and their success in order to impress a man, or sometimes even worse, to compete with a man. But let's say it's because of the first reason. You want to impress him, you want to make him fall in love with you by proving yourself. But this is not how a man falls in love with a woman. That's how women fall in love, but not men. They fall in love with how you made them feel. They fall in love if you inspire them to do better. And who do you think it will inspire more a man to do better? A woman that acts like she doesn't need him, or a woman who allows that man to be there for her? And I am not saying that you need to leave your independence or anything like that. I am saying learn to understand men if your end goal is to attract a masculine guy. If you don't want to give up on certain traits or behaviors, then probably you will attract a more feminine guy, and that is also fine as well. At the end of the day, it's your decision, and it depends about what are your priorities and end goals in life. That's all the video for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. There is so much to talk about this topic, so if that is something that you are interested in, let me know in the comments. Also, remember to subscribe so we can create a beautiful community on here. And again, this information is just for all of you to have a better understanding of men, to make better decisions, to realize what kind of partner do you want to attract. I share this information with so much love. So thank you for being here, and I hope to see you next week.